Hey everyone, welcome back to AFTV. I'm so excited because Robbie and I are actually here to preview a game of football.
Yeah, it's been mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
The past couple of weeks have just been crazy. It's unprecedented, isn't it?
No, it really is.
It's
You know.
unprecedented, and I think I felt last week they could possibly have played games, and we could have done a tribute to the Queen in all of those games. This weekend, however, I do really understand why a lot of these games are being cancelled. If you see the queues to go and see the Queen lying in state, there's 6 mile queues, and it's taken people like 9 hours to even get to see her coffin, right?
Yeah.
And there's just so many people at the moment in and around London, and they're having to have, obviously, because of all the terrorist threats and dignitaries coming in from all over the world, they need so many police to police that I think we're very fortunate that our game's even on. We lost the PSV game the other night, and there's certain games like Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Leeds that have gone. But luckily for us, I think a lot of that's to do with the fact that we're playing Brentford and it's only a 17,000 seater stadium. That's helped us a lot. And obviously there's no animosity really between the two sets of fans. I mean, shout out to Billy the Bee, a big Brentford fan. He was saying to me, come and have a drink with us before the game in their pub.
Wow.
Now that's unheard of when you go to games. But in Brentford, before the game, you can go into any pub around there. They're all mixed. And that's how friendly it is down there. So not as a bigger policing headache as, say, policing a Man United Leeds, which
Sure.
that's an A-lister.
No, I agree. And I echo everything you said. It has been an unprecedented, what's it been, 10 days or so? Maybe a little bit less. No, just over a week. But it really has been. And you're right. I mean, I walked through London on my way back, and I've seen the queues. I couldn't. Actually, took me a second to clock. I was like, oh my god, this is the queue that everyone's talking about. And yeah, it's been incredible. And I can't imagine the amount of resources. And that's why when we did the live show the other day, Laura and I was quite sympathetic because I can't understand what it must be like having to resource all these. Have resources for all these things. But as you mentioned, it is Brentford away. It's a 17,000 seater stadium, the Brentford Community Stadium. Lovely new ground. Actually, remember their first game? Who was that against?
Well, it brings back horrible memories.
Yeah, it does.
First game there against us.
It does.
When we lost to them that time, and first game of the season, got bullied there, to be honest. And
yeah, we did.
We were really, really poor that day. But I think it's going to be a different game this time because, that time there were so many players missing. There were players with COVID. We was, you could see we were completely unprepared for that first game of the season. A little bit different this time around.
Yeah,
we're going into the game,
so
even off the back of a defeat, but we're on form. Mikel Arteta's just one manager in a month. We've been the informed team. We're top of the league at the moment. So it's a different vibe that we're going into the game with.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, referee for the day, David Coote. His assistants, Nick Hopton, Timothy Wood. Fourth official, John Brooks. VAR, Peter Banks. And assistant VAR, Neil Davis. But before we go into more details around the game, let's talk about actually our last Premier League game, which was the Man United one. Now, obviously, we played Zurich. In between the two league games, and we got the win, and we weren't overly convincing. But talking on the Man United game and the fact that we lost, we actually played quite well. Then the Zurich game he gave minutes to, and there was a big debate here in this studio. Should Arteta have been giving minutes to these first teamers? Maybe after what happened with Man United, actually he probably got that call right, whether he meant to or not.
Well, now it looks a great call because with there being no games, last weekend. At least some of those first teamers got some game time, and they want to keep active, they want to keep fresh. And yeah, the Man United game was disappointing because I thought we played well on the day, but just were a little bit naive with our defending. We can't repeat that, and I hope that those are the things that they've really, really worked on over the past couple of weeks. But certainly attacking-wise, if we play in a similar way against Brentford, we've got a great chance of winning that game. But the United game was disappointing. Zurich was a much better performance, and like you said, some players came in. I thought Fabio Vieira,
looked good.
Came in. He looked good in that game. Of course, Marquinhos was the guy who stole the show. Could he have a place on the bench at the weekend? And yeah, this is one of the good things about the Europa League is that it can give the manager a headache when it comes to selecting the team that plays in the Premier League. And I guess the other thing that may help us a bit, that we didn't have that PSV game, much as we were all disappointed and the PSV game got cancelled, but it means that the players are fresh. It doesn't mean that we had a game on Thursday night and now we're going into that game against Brentford on Sunday, and Brentford are fresh, and we know that game when they played against Man United, where they famously were said to have run a further 8.1 kilometres, was it?
It might have even been more than that.
More than United, and Ten Hag pulled him into training the next day to make them run that off. We'll be fresh for this game, just as fresh as they are.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be a factor, and that's going to help us in a game when we're playing against a team that's going to really press us.
Well, they'll definitely be fresh. Will they be sharp? That's what I'm really hoping for. Let's remind ourselves of the league table. Despite that Man United defeat at Old Trafford, our first of the season, we sit top, and I think that was quite, well, refreshing and strange, actually, considering Man City, who feel imperious because of Erling Haaland and everything that they're doing. Still, with 2 draws on the board meant that losing at Old Trafford, disappointing, but we kept our place at the top of the table on 15 points with 5 wins and a defeat. City on 14 points, Tottenham on 14 as well, Brighton 13, and then Man United in 5th on 12.
I've got something for you, yeah?
Go on.
Arsenal, I was looking at his stat, right? I've got it written down here. Arsenal, we either win or we lose.
Yeah.
And that's why, this started the season, we've won 5 games, lost 1, right? So we either bag those 3 points or we get nothing, right? And I was looking at this stat right here. Let me just try to see if I can find it again. Slipped away from me now. The Arsenal, so...
I think I remember it. Was it something like 23?
Yeah, none of Arsenal's last 23 Premier League games have been drawn. Last 23 games.
Yeah.
We've won 16 and we've lost 7. It's the longest ongoing run without a draw amongst sides currently in the competition. While only between January and October 2018, 25 of the Gunners gone longer than that without drawing a game. So we don't really draw games.
No.
We win them or we lose them. And hopefully we win it this week.
Well, that's quite telling of Arteta's Arsenal, which is sometimes we're brilliant and we look the part, and other times it looks a bit flat or whatever. That's not really been the case this season. It feels like they've really been, they've been understanding each other. Football's been great. The new players, and I say players because I count Saliba as one of them, has made a massive difference as well. And they're going to need to make a massive difference because we need to overturn what happened against Brentford last year. And listen, last season's done, but it's a mental thing, I think. It's a bit like Palace. We lost 3-0, but then last season, start of this season, we go and win 2-0, and we just right the wrongs of last year a little bit. This is a massive opportunity. Now, our record against Brentford, it's quite fun. Before I go into our record against Brentford, let's talk about the last 5 games for both teams. We've got 4 wins and the defeat to Man United. Of course, we did win that 6th and first game of the season against Palace. Brentford, however, 2 wins, 2 draws and a defeat with a +6 goal difference. They've actually scored more. Well, they've got a better goal difference than us in the last 5 games. That defeat coming to Fulham and a home draw against Everton as well. So they're not, they're not perfect. I know we see it as a difficult place to go, but they've had some sort of, I guess, some drop points I didn't expect.
Yeah. No, the Everton one stands out as a game you'd have thought they'd win. Listen, they are a good side, but they're not a side that can't be beaten, as Fulham showed. And of course, they had that standout result against Manchester United that really made everybody sit up, and they've got some very good players. But
put 5 past Leeds the other day.
Yeah, but they are beatable.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Our head-to-head record, this really made me laugh. And I think I might have said it to you in the office. Our record against Brentford, overall, of all time, 15 games. How many do you reckon we've won?
Oh, you said it, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I might have told you.
We won about 5 or something, right?
We've only won 5 of those 15.
Yeah.
How many have we lost?
7?
6.
6. Wow.
We've lost more games than we've won.
Oh, no, that was a long time ago because Brentford have only just come into the Premier League, haven't they?
So let's caveat that with the last 3 against Brentford from 2018 onwards, because we had that League Cup game.
Yeah.
We have won 2 and only lost the once.
Yeah.
And the time we played them before 2018, I believe, was 1948 or 1947. So there's a big
even
gap.
Before my time.
So there's a big gap between those. But so it's just interesting when you look at the head-to-heads. Who are you worrying about from a Brentford perspective, player-wise?
Yeah, it's obviously Ivan Toney, isn't it? He's been on fire. Excellent player. He's done really, really well. When you think this guy his journey. Started off, I think it was at Northampton, went to Newcastle, didn't work out, went on to, I think it was Peterborough after that, started scoring goals. And then for Brentford, before they came into the Premier League, he was banging in the goals in the Championship. Lots of people saying, yeah, but that's a Championship. You're not going to be able to do that when you get to the Premier League. And he did. And now, this week, getting into the England squad, I mean, what can you say? He's really, really one of the informed players in the Premier League right now, and he's definitely dangerous. If we don't get him under control, we will have serious problems. He's a very good player. Very confident. I think as well, what I like about him as well, he's got a lot of confidence. I remember the stuff he said about us last year. Nice kickabout with the boys or the lads or something. I remember Arteta in the All or Nothing documentary used that in one of his team talks when we played them in the reverse game. He's a very confident guy. He backs himself, right? Which is great, but we're going to have to keep a handle on him.
7 games in all competitions this season, 5 goals and 3 assists. So he's he's got 8 goal contributions in less games, being the 7. 1 assist, one of those 3 assists coming in the EFL Cup. 5 league goals. My thing with Ivan, I
think only Haaland's been more effective than him.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
In overall stats.
What it is with Tony is he's that kind of player where we could be battering Brentford. We could be all over them. And I would still think Tony can do something, because it can be a long ball, it can be a set piece, it can be just that sniff at goal if he gets a chance. You know what I like about him is, I think he's a lot more of a complete player than people were giving him credit for last year. I think he was seen as a bit of a battering ram or whatever. Yeah. He's a fantastic passer of a ball. His assist for Mbemo against Man United was unbelievable. You know the whole cliche, if De Bruyne does that, if Messi does that, but genuinely, if one of them does that, the first time just rolled into his path.
De Bruyne-esque, wasn't it?
Mbemo doesn't have to break stride, puts it away. I mean, his passing is unbelievable. He's very strong. I think he scored a goal against Fulham that I think was ruled out for offside. I might be wrong, but there was one where it was fizzed into him and he just sort of took a touch, like with his back to goal, spun and just put it into the bottom corner. And you just think, this guy, he's got a little bit of everything. He's good in the air as well.
And do not give away a penalty with him on that, because
that's true as well.
I think he's the best penalty taker in the league. So, no, he's a threat. Yeah. He's a serious threat.
He's a real threat. Arsenal go with their own threats as well. Who in particular are you looking at as, it's key that said player performs in their role, and if they do, we've got a better chance of winning?
Gabriel Jesus again. I think that's going to be the difference between when we played them last year at their ground to this. Well, not the only difference, but one of the big differences is Gabriel Jesus up front is a completely different proposition to, I think that day was Balogun playing. Yeah. You know what I mean? This guy is playing well. I think Jesus is going to be a bit stung that he didn't get into that Brazilian team. But I think that might motivate him. Because he's still got a chance of getting into the Brazilian team. And that might motivate him to say, well, I need to score more goals. So, and I was looking at some of the stats around Gabriel Jesus. And it says, coming into this weekend's games, Gabriel Jesus has had more touches in the opposition box, 66, more attempted dribbles, 34, and more dribbles in the box, 8, and won more fouls, 21, than any other player in the Premier League this season. That shows you he is a serious threat. If they don't get hold of him, they're going to have problems. And one of the areas that you can exploit with Brentford is their defence. Is to get that ball up to Gabriel Jesus and things will happen. That's what I think with Arsenal. And you got Martinelli off him and Saka off him, and you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think Jesus he's going to be a key player for Arsenal, I think, this weekend. Yeah, I completely agree, especially because actually we've not really been keeping a lot of clean sheets. So if we're scoring and putting it in the back of the net, you can maybe excuse one going in as long as we're doing our thing in the final third, because we are creating chances. Let's talk injury news, guys, to round it off before the score predictions. And it's starting to
starting to add up a little bit, this list. But let's go through. We know Reece Nelson's a long-term injury. That's a thigh problem. We know Mohamed El Neni as well. We knew that back in August, in the days before transfer deadline day. That made it all a bit difficult. Emil Smith-Rowe, we hear it's a groin problem now.
Yeah, groin problem.
Which is a real shame for him. A real shame. I don't know who said it, but I mean, I imagine he's devastated about it, because
his England hopes are gone now, isn't it? You got to say,
yeah.
With the this squad being selected, his chance of getting the England squad is probably gone, which that will upset him because he was knocking on the door last year.
He was, yeah.
And
Scored
also, and then he's been brilliant for us, you know what I mean? And I saw Mikel Arteta saying in his press conference that, he's a big miss. And he is. He is a big miss. It's a goal scorer,
Yeah,
goal scoring player, and we need as many of those in the team as possible. We need him as an option. But yeah, unfortunately he's out and he's missing a lot of games now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we hope to have him back soon because, as you're right, big miss, a busy October. The Europa League game, still 5 to play, obviously, because we couldn't play ours in the week. Cedric's got a knock as well. Now, this is a little interesting because Arteta wouldn't really be drawn in on it, but there was kind of rumours on social media, some reports here and there, that Zinchenko is likely to miss the international break.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but Arteta wouldn't get drawn into it.
Yeah, they said Zinchenko was going to miss the last game as well, didn't he? And he played.
Well, it didn't look. Yeah, he was suggesting it didn't look good for Man United.
Yeah, and he played. So I don't know, and they reckon he picked up the injury in training. And I remember having a big argument here on the last stream with Gunnar Lee.
Yeah,
he was saying, "Oh, why are we playing this player? You can get injured in training as well. Play." You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I hope Zinchenko's fit. But the good thing about it is if this season, if he's not, Kieran Tierney's there. So it's not a complete worry.
We're well covered. Another rumour was that Ben White. It was reported actually, but I think Arteta's put that to bed.
Ben White's going to be fit. Yeah.
So that's good. We'll have him available as well. And then you're looking at Thomas Partey, who basically... Well, he was injured, and he would have, I think, been available for Everton, but it would have been a bit touch and go. Basically, it was about whether they wanted to risk him back. But he's had an extra week, and he's likely to be available for this as well.
It'd be brilliant if he could be available, because one of the things I noticed about Brentford when they played Man United was their pressing. They pressed and pressed and pressed, and we know that Partey's one of them press-resistant players who can play out. I think we're going to need somebody like him. A little bit worried if it's Sambi Lokonga in there against that press that Brentford put on. That's how they beat Man United, although we are a team that plays out from the back very well. But I do think that they're going to try and see if they can jump on that.
Yeah.
Which might be a good thing because we do it pretty well and we can get out. And if we can get out and get the ball up to Jesus and Martinelli and those guys, we could be in a bit of joy. But midfield's going to be important. Thomas Partey is a key member of Arsenal's team. If we can get him back and fit, that could be one of the only good things to have come out of the past couple of weeks with all these games being cancelled. The fact that he's been able to get a bit of time to get back in. So I watch that with interest. Yeah. If he's fit, though, he has to play.
Yeah, I agree.
Has to play.
I agree. All right, guys, we're going to be building our predicted 11, Cecil and I, on a video coming out very soon on AFTV. So go check that out when it comes. Let's round off with your score prediction, Robbie.
I want to go for Arsenal winning 2-1. We don't draw games, so there's no point in choosing a draw.
Oh, that's not jinx.
And I'm not going for no defeat this time because I think this is a different Arsenal that's going to Brentford. I really do. Brentford are a very, very good side. It's going to be very intense. Early kick-off. Even those things I'm not nervous about no more. I think Arsenal are putting away a lot of those hoodoos. I thought we were very unlucky against Manchester United not to get something out of that game. But we're going to have to defend a lot better against Brentford. Yeah. But if we fix that, I fancy us. Don't think we'll keep a clean sheet though, but I'm going 2-1. Yeah, I'm going 2-1 as well. I said it on Forever Arsenal, so I'm going to stick with it here. All right, guys, don't forget to check out the Predicted 11 show, which is coming out a little bit later on AFTV. Have a look at that. Cecil and I will be trying to predict. We'll be trying to follow on our amazing start for Zurich. Well, we've got everything right.
Every single player spot on.
No pressure, Cecil. No pressure. Get it all right.
Actually, if it goes wrong, I'll blame it all on Cecil. I'll say, listen,
he'd be off the show
the last time. But don't forget that the match is on at midday UK time as well. We'll be covering it with the watch along, starting 11 before and full time. So get your videos in then, and all sorts of other content will be coming in around the game. Check out Box to Box and all that as well. Robbie, a big thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for watching. Get in the comment section. Let us know your score predictions, your thoughts about the injuries and everything ahead of this crucial game.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.